Welcome to the Iowa Talk Guys. I'm your host, Theo.
I'm your host, TP.
And I'm E-Rock.
Today we have a special guest.
Very special.
Yeah. David Weiss. TP, you reached out to Mr. Weiss, right?
Yeah, aka Flat Earth Dave.
Flat Earth Dave. Thanks for coming on with us, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Thanks for having me on. It's Weiss like the ice wall. Weiss like ice.
Sorry.
Weiss.
No worries. No worries. And just for anybody listening,
vernacular.
I got my biannual chest cold. This is the first podcast I'm doing since I did it. So if I sound a little hoarse, that is the reason. But I would not miss a podcast talking about flat Earth. I don't care how sick I am. If I can talk, I'm talking the talk.
Right on.
Dedication right there.
You're probably going to be doing most of the talking tonight, too. So
that's unfortunate.
No, we'll see how the conversation goes.
And yeah, I've heard you like a couple of years ago. I think it was on Sam Tripoli.
Yeah, tinfoil hat.
Yep.
Yeah, and you've been on Sean Hibbler's I think Level with Me, Next Level.
I was in his two movies. I was in another movie called Origins Untold. I've been on with Stu Peters, Peggy Hall, Alex Jones, and the rest of them. I'm going on Roseanne Barr in March, and
wow.
some other big ones coming up. So you guys are, you guys now, I forget what you guys are questioning the
Correct.
Earth.
Yeah.
Gun to your head, you'd probably take the bullet because you wouldn't know what to say.
We're curious. Yeah. And unlike Professor David Farino or whatever the hell his name is.
Fake professor, failed musician, Dave. Yeah.
Just
what
a
total
asshole.
Yeah, God bless you for your patience, man.
We're opinionated and we can be assholes ourselves, but not like that.
Yeah. I hope Buzz Aldrin punches that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Excuse me. That guy is total clown. So that's all I got to say about that. There's a video that's on all my channels. It's on my app under the debunking the debunkers, where there's a channel called, what's it called? Mind Shock, that doesn't take either side. It just looks at logical fallacies and ad homs and keeps score, and it's hysterical. And Dave broke the record.
Well, yeah, when you search your name, that's the very first Google search result is
obviously.
That should tell you something. That should tell you something. The fact that Google is serving you that, basically if they say don't look here, look there. If they say look here, look away.
And that's exactly what they do with everything,
right.
Whether it's a product that they're marketing to you or whether it's, something that hasn't reached a lot of people or even something that a lot of people laugh at or decide to just all out call people morons and whatnot over like flat Earth.
I did that when I first heard about flat Earth. I called people morons. I laughed at them. I refused to look at their evidence.
Absolutely. I did the same thing. I did the same exact thing.
Yeah, and even when we told people that we were going to interview you, I got some friends that were just, why are you doing that?
Are you guys familiar with Jeff Berwick and the Anarchapulco conference, the Freedom Conference in Acapulco?
No.
Yeah, he does it with oh my gosh, macroaggressions. What's that guy's name?
How come you haven't? Clint.
Charlie Robinson.
Charlie Robinson. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So I have heard of that conference. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is coming in February. I'm actually speaking there on flat Earth. It's the first time they've had a flat Earth speaker on there. But
oh wow.
But I think at least 8 of their speakers, including Jeff Berwick and Charlie, are flat earthers. So they're getting a lot of crap for allowing a flat earther to speak there. But anybody that sits through my presentation, I have a killer presentation. 45 minutes, if people's heads are going to explode. It's going to be a phenomenal. So if anyone's looking for some
awesome
fun getaway, you can go virtually or you can go there and have the experience of your life. With Flat Earth is going to take over that conference this year.
That's awesome. That's going to be exciting. Wow. This stuff is really blowing up, especially when did it really start getting big? Was that like 2014?
I think that just like in general, the past decade, but particularly the past 3 or 4 years have really accelerated people's skepticism.
Well, yeah, they're seeing all this stuff going on with the Rona and the changing the new biology.
Yeah, people can tell that something's not right.
So it's like, what else have you guys been lying to us about?
Right.
People, the skeptics out there, the haters, not the ones that are purposely deceiving, but the ones that are just like, oh, flat Earth is a psyop to make all truth movement look stupid, and these are people just speaking from their butts, but they've been programmed to believe that we've known the Earth was a globe for 2,000 years when Eratosthenes figured it out with his sticks and shadows, which is a total crock. We can get into that if you want, but the truth is they were teaching flat Earth in public school here in America all the way through the 1950s. That's hard to believe. Yeah, they were. They were, and we've talked to people that were taught. In the 1960s, early 60s, they were teaching flat and globe. It took a while for the Rockefellers to completely take over.
It always comes back to those bastards.
Always the damn Rockefellers. So to say it just took off recently, I think, I guess you can give Eric Dubay a little bit of credit in that. He had some viral videos, and before YouTube knew what was happening, they were recommending flat Earth to everybody that looked into any flat Earth. And people are like, well, you watch a couple of videos and you think the Earth is flat, blah, 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 blah. No, you watch a few videos and you start digging in, and if it's crap, you're going to figure it out soon. The hive mind is when you have enough people looking at something, the truth will always come out. You have a big fishbowl of marbles or jelly beans, and you take everyone guesses, and if you take the mean guess, it's usually right on the money within one or two jelly beans. And when the hive mind is looking at something this big, the truth comes out. If it's a scam, it gets exposed 900 ways to Sunday because so many people are looking at it from so many different points of view. But
sometimes it goes bad though.
The more people that are looking into it, the more we're finding out. And then we get accused. You guys are science deniers. No, we actually use not the word science, the actual scientific method. And then they say, you guys just want to feel special. No, we didn't decide to pick the topic that would make everybody ridicule us.
You're just trying to get clout, dog.
Yeah. And you guys are just trying to make money with clicks. We picked the topic that's hidden and it's demonetized.
All the most censored topics. Yeah, we're gonna make tons of money on this with our views.
And your $3
the truth is, and the truth is that once you go flat, you never go back. And that says something right there. It's like, you flat earthers are never willing to change your mind. No, we were globers. We changed our mind based on new information.
Yeah, we all went through the same government indoctrination camps as children like you did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So go ahead. Sorry, David.
No, I was just going to say, so, all of the things that we get accused of, it's literally projection. It's the person that's saying it is actually talking about themselves. You've heard about, when somebody accuses you of something, it's usually they're the ones that are doing it. It's called projection, right?
Yeah.
But when you see these people go off on flat earthers, coming from the point of the side that you already know, like I know my truth. When someone says that I'm a shill, I know that I'm not a shill. Okay, you don't know that I'm not a shill. Sure. You don't. You can have your beliefs,
but a shill would say though, Dave.
Right? Yeah, of course. But once you know it, once you see it, you can see how much they're projecting, and the amount of projection that these people do, it's mind-boggling. I'm like, that person just went on a 10-minute rant with 50 different points, and every single one of them is exactly what they're doing. It's mind-blowing.
Well, that means when you attack this, that means you're attacking their Star Wars, their Star Trek, their all their sci-fi and stuff that they love.
I love Star Wars. I grew up. I watched every episode of Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek. Most people did. Star Trek. I grew up on, but everything. Love space. But here's the thing: when you dig into flat Earth, space is more real. But what I mean by that is not outer space, the outer space. To believe that there's aliens coming from other planets, from other stars, when you actually look at the scientific impossibility of a vacuum of space with burning balls of gas and the distances that they tell you that they are make no sense.
Billions upon billions of light years.
Oh yeah. Billions upon billions of miles and trillions of light year. I mean, it's just the numbers are astounding. We can get into that. Right. I'll go over a couple numbers with you. It's kind of mind blowing. But on a flat Earth, those other worlds could just be a couple thousand miles away here in a pressurized arena, right? Right there, here on flat Earth. Extraterrestrials is extra terra, extra land, beyond the south, beyond Antarctica.
Well,
don't have proof of it, but there's so much evidence of it. But even if we don't have proof that there's aliens coming from outer space. This one is actually scientifically possible. If the Earth is flat, the globe is scientifically impossible.
Yeah, that's you need the magic of gravity.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, no, you're fine. I was just gonna actually kind of try to kick it off. I did want to. Well, we've already kicked it off, but I did want to mention in line with something that you were talking about how schools taught flat Earth until the '60s, is what you said, and TP always brings something up that's it's like in the 20th century or the 19th century. Something big happened.
Yeah.
And we can't quite put our finger on it. You know what I mean?
The world changed.
Something, yeah, don't know what it is. It's like
we went from horse and buggy to
if you were rich as heck, you had a horse and buggy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we went to everybody having a car.
Well, and then as soon as we found out how cool cars were, we found out how we can kill people with them.
Yeah.
Became tanks and all this other fun stuff.
Have you guys looked into old world information yet?
So yeah, that's something I've recently been getting into, and it's pretty wild.
I have not. I'm interested to hear it.
Wild.
So on my app, which is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, on the homeschool page, the top row is 4 different old world sections. And if you start watching them, the rabbit hole is so deep, you can just swan dive right in because you're never going to hit the bottom, right? And it is mind blowing. So when to say that there was horses and buggies here, there was for a short period of time after they repopulated the world. There was some sort of reset that happened, we think, in the mid 1800s, and everybody disappeared. I don't know if they died or maybe they moved to the outer lands. I don't know, but the cities were already here.
Maybe they got exterminated.
Well, who knows?
Actually, you know what? Maybe they did go to the outer lands, just like the elves in Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of the things they got.
Yeah, if you mean it as a legitimate concept, yeah, I mean that
there could be.
Maybe that was Tolkien's inspiration.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings is a flat Earth a flat Earth book. So,
and we don't have to. Tolkien based that off of a bunch of old books that he had read.
Yeah, but here's the thing: we don't. We can talk about that all day long, but the truth is, we can look at the buildings that are here. They're finding stuff buried so deep underground. They were digging like 40 meters deep. I forget where. I think it was in the United States, but maybe I'm wrong. And at 40 meters down, they started finding brick archways. 40 meters. Yeah, it's like, was there some sort of mud flood? What's
think
going
about
on there?
Everything was buried. Even remember the Sphinx? Some of the first photos ever taken, it was just the head.
Yep.
Right? Same thing with the pyramids.
Yeah,
so
it was in like a freaking sand dune.
Yeah. And the heads on Easter Island, they're full bodies underneath them.
Yeah,
right.
Full bodies, and I remember
it's just wild because the heads are spectacular alone.
Right.
Yeah, so
like, oh shit, it goes
more. This world is not what you think it is. On the app, there's also a section called what is it called? It's called totally having a brain fart. It's called the Lost History of Flat Earth. And the first movie, the first video in that section is 5 hours long. 5 hours, right? Like, who's got time for a 5-hour video? Let me tell you what happened. A year or two ago, when it came out, people started sending me that. And I'm like, 5 hours? I'm not watching that. And then a couple more people sent it. So I just kind of like had on the back burner. I was like, 5 hours. I don't know who's time for that. And one night around 11 p.m., I was finishing up some stuff, and I was like, all right, let me just put something on in the background while I finish up a couple things. And I put it on, and 5 minutes later, I stopped doing what I was doing. I'm staring at the TV. Next thing I know, it's 4:00 in the morning, and I'm holding my head going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I've had a night or two like that.
And so I did what I needed to do that day, and I watched it again the same day. Within 24 hours, I watched a 5-hour video twice. Okay. Wow. When you don't think you'll watch it once at all, just if you want to dive in, start with that one. But if you want to go off lighter, you can go to my YouTube channel, DITRH, which is all my videos are under 5 minutes. And you could start off there. And then once you start understanding what you don't know, like your own model, global believers, the reason they're global believers is because they don't know their own model.
Yeah, there's a. All right, hold on a second, please. All right, we had some
ahead.
interference there. All right, say that last part again about uh, the globe earthers don't know their own model.
Yeah, the reason people are globe earthers is because they don't know their own model. They don't know their own model
Right.
because if they knew a tenth of what flat earthers know about their globe model, they would be questioning their model because their model is absolutely, I'm going to say it, retarded.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask
You're
you
not
this.
supposed to say that word anymore.
Something that
I'm taking it back
yeah.
because I'm a flat earther. I'm allowed to say it. You guys even started out by saying we have a very special guest. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that's
There we
true.
go.
Okay.
That works.
He's short bus special. Don't judge him. No, I'm just
No,
joking. I'm
no.
sorry. No, I didn't mean that.
But no,
Obviously. Oh, go ahead,
no.
Theo.
Well, I was just gonna say I hate to keep bringing this up. I mean, but something that Professor Farina said to you was
Failed
that
musician Farina. Failed musician
that works.
Farina.
That
Okay.
works. Something that he said is he claims that the Earth's curve essentially is not detectable because Earth is so large,
Oh,
and at the surface, it's essentially impossible. It's to quote him, he said it's 100% negligible.
oh
Let me
no.
answer
And
that.
that is
Haven't you seen the YouTube videos
that has to be
with the fishbowl lens?
It's got to be 100% provable that
Well, they want
if
you to
it's got
believe
that kind of a curve.
they want you to believe that you're a micron on top of a basketball and it looks flat. That's a meme that they drilled in everyone's head. He said
Right.
too big for you to see because you're so small, but they want you to believe that you can watch a boat go over the horizon, disappear from the bottom up.
Well, yeah, and then that everybody that loves this guy, that theoretical physicist
Neil deGrasse, Michio Kaku, right?
Michio
Kaku, right? And he said in a because I was reading up on some stuff earlier in like a DallasObserver.com article about. He said, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out. You just take an airplane trip and there it is. My God, look,
Right.
you can see the earth is curved.
Right.
So
but then
let me address.
Hold on, but
Go ahead.
even the World Atlas disputes this. If you go to worldatlas.com and go to their article about the curvature of the earth, there's a subsection that says photography or photographing the curvature. And it said there are thousands of photographs on the internet of people claiming to have photographed the curvature of the earth. Scientists have dismissed these photographs as fake or misrepresented in almost every scenario. The curvature is caused by the distortion of the camera lens. If one lifts a camera above the center of the frame, then the right and left edges curve inwards to mimic Earth's curvature. Or you can use a fishbowl lens,
Fisheye
which
lens,
is
right?
very common.
Yes. So let me address a couple of these things. If we lived on a ball, there would be a physical limitation set to be no more than X, which is 8 inches per mile squared, which is that usually actually using the Pythagorean theorem, which is a proven mathematical formula.
Oh, yeah.
And
Framers, people that build use the Pythagorean theorem all the time, dude.
So at just 3 miles, there's 6 feet of drop if the Earth is the size that they tell us. So if you're standing at the edge of calm water watching the sunset, you're watching the sun intersect with your visual horizon at just 3 miles away. That's not where you see the sun, intersect with the water. It's way out there. And and you shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water beyond 3 miles because it would be behind a physical curve. Now on a flat Earth, the horizon is optical, and as if you stand up, you can see farther. And if you're sitting down at the beach on a ball, that horizon's closer than 3 miles. It's like 1.5 miles. So that's not what we see. I can take a camera, I can zoom in on things and see them dozens of miles away. I can see people sitting on the beach. I can see the surface.
Well, what about the ships that go over the curve, David?
Well, something that was mentioned, I believe, on your website is that from what's the name of that? From Genoa, you can see Corsica.
Yeah.
Etna? No, Elba.
There's a whole bunch. J Tola Media with infrared now is seeing 1,000 miles. The miles.
Oh my gosh!
Like we can see, we have mountains over 700 miles away. Where the tops of those mountains, where we can see almost the whole mountain, the tops of those mountains should be over 40 miles 40 miles below a physical curve. And the glober will go, well, I can't see the bottom third of the mountain. Well, that's because of the way your eye is looking. But forget the bottom. The top should be 40 miles below a physical curve. 40 miles, right? But there it is. Mainstream media, they won't touch it. Mainstream scientists, silence is their only defense.
Did you know Rob Skiba or know of his work?
Oh yeah, good. That's good friends with Rob.
Were you? Yeah. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, he was, I think, murdered.
He was murdered.
That's just
my
personal opinion.
Go get his wife's book. It's amazing.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. But anyways, Rob, he went out. He did the Chicago skyline photo that was taken across Lake Michigan, right?
Yep. Yeah. Did you send that picture?
Him and Rick Hummer took a boat across on a day when they could see it. And if it was a mirage, it would have to disappear at some point, but it never disappeared.
Right. The skyline stayed consistent until they were like, there's the.
Yeah, and it was like the skyline, but not just the skyline. It was like downtown in its entirety. You could see
almost,
it.
Yeah. What people don't realize is there's other things that will make the bottoms of buildings and the bottoms of ships disappear. One, when you're looking across the land, across the water, you're looking through all atmosphere. So the farther you look, the more atmosphere you're looking in, and water particles will magnify things. When you magnify something, it's going to get pushed into the horizon more. The other thing is a little wave, a 1 foot wave, like halfway the distance or somewhere in way, the city is far beyond that little wave. So the city gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and that little wave can block the whole city. That little wave that you can't even discern could literally block entire skylines. So once you understand how that perspective works and how the ground ramps up to the level and the sky ramps down.
Well, it's just like when you're driving on a hot day down a highway on a long stretch, right? And you can see that mirage on the hill over there, and you see a car go up. You'll see the bottom of the car disappear before the top, right?
Yeah, that's another thing too. There's mirage. There's terrestrial features like waves, hills, stuff that will block stuff in your block your vision. So if you're standing next to a building, a tall building, 10 stories tall, you're right in front of the building, and the sun's directly over your head, right? Now, say it's noon and the sun's directly over your head. The building's across the street. It's 25 stories tall. Now the sun is moving.
Rio de Janeiro, so the sun's right over you.
The sun's over you. So now the sun is moving, just moving away, and it goes over the building. And now you can't see the sun. You're in the shade of the building. It's like now it's 1 p.m. and literally the sun went beyond the building. Now it's beyond the building. If I'm painting the picture in your mind correctly, it's beyond the building. It's not below the horizon. It's just beyond the building. If you went up to the top of that building, you'd be able to see the sun again. Or if you walk backwards a couple hundred yards, maybe you'd be able to see the sun again because the building would get smaller and you'd have a better angle to see the sun. You with me?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
I understand that.
So now if you go backwards,
I'm somewhat tracking, yeah.
If you go backwards,
I've seen your videos.
If you go backwards a mile, just 1 mile, let alone 10 miles, the top of that building will now be at your eye height.
Right.
You won't be pointing up at that building. You'll be pointing straight ahead. The top of that building will be at your height. So if you go back 10 miles, the top of that building, the mountains, everything will literally be at your eye level.
Yeah, because the horizon always comes to your eye level based on your perspective, right?
In reality, that horizon line is hundreds of feet above your head. If it was a mountain that's a couple thousand feet over your head, you went back 20 miles.
But it does seem down in eye level, yeah.
Yeah, so the top of that mountain it'll look like it's at your eye level, but it's still thousands of feet above. The sun will move beyond the mountain, just like it went beyond the building, and it'll disappear from the bottom up. And you think that's at your eye level, but it's thousands of feet over your head. But you see it as going down, and you've been brainwashed into believe it's going over a ball.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's pretty wild when you get into it. And actually, this is a question I think E-Rock had about.
Maybe E-Rock should ask
E-Rock. Well, no, I'm sorry. E-Rock had mentioned before in a conversation about the Coriolis effect. Didn't you say something about that, E-Rock?
Yeah, how does that fit in with this?
Well, first of all, what is the Coriolis effect?
What the bend? I don't even know.
Yeah, but we've all been brainwashed to believe that the Coriolis effect, proves the Earth. One little trick they'll show you at the equator. There's some scammers there where they have a line said this is the equator, and then they're 25 feet north of the equator, and they pour water into a basin and it spins clockwise. Then they go south of it and they pour water in, and it's
when you flush a toilet in the north hemisphere, northern
that's
hemisphere.
That's not true. It's all fake. It's not real. It's if you watch, it's how they pour the water in the bin. They pour it slightly to the right of the drain or slightly to the left of the drain, and it literally will spin in the opposite directions.
We need to buy a toilet from Brazil.
Yeah, well,
knock it off, you turd.
Why not? Because it's for real.
No, it's not a toilet.
No, toilets too. It's how
they do that.
Water. That's how the water enters the basin. People have toilets in the same house that spin in different directions. I have friends in Australia. Their toilets all spin the same direction as mine. In my other house, I had one toilet that spun one way and the other one that spun the other way. Does that mean I'm like the equator splitting my house?
A Brazilian. It was some South American toilet.
So the other Coriolis effect they're talking about is if you're standing on the equator. Right? If you're standing on the equator and the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, that's about the speed it's going. And then you throw an airplane, or an airplane takes off north. As it gets up to, let's say,
or if you fire a projectile,
right,
the Earth is spinning at a different speed, and it'll appear to curve. Okay, and that's supposedly the Coriolis. Like if you threw a ball to somebody while you're on a merry-go-round, to them on the other side of the merry-go-round, it's gonna look like it curves. All right. So that doesn't happen. There is no Coriolis. Now, however, they say, what about storms? This is different. So storms in the south will go counterclockwise, and storms in the north will spin clockwise, or vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah. I don't know.
That is because the sun and the moon travel between the tropics, which is the equator, and just a little north and south, and they have an electromagnetic wake. And it's just like pushing your hand or a paddle through water. Watch on the opposite sides of your hand, you'll have counter spinning vortices. That's what's going on.
And would that account for the tides then as well with the moon?
No, because the tides are different. The tides are different.
Yeah.
There's a thing called
they're clockwise in the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere, allegedly.
Well, I'm talking about the moon, the tides. So if it's got an electric, you said it was an
electromagnetic force. So check this out. We know that during full moons, we have higher tides.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. What's the difference between a full moon and a new moon? No difference other than the amount of light that's on it, right?
Right.
So when there's a full moon, you have the sun on one side of the earth and the moon's on the other side of the earth, with the earth in the middle. So now you have the sun's gravity pulling one direction and the moon's gravity pulling the other direction. So when there's a new moon, the moon is on the same side of the earth as the sun, lined up. Why wouldn't there be gigantic tides then? Because the sun and the moon are both pulling on the same side.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Wow. There should be gigantic tides
everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't happen. And the sun isn't correlated. Excuse me. The sun isn't correlated to the tides either. Even though it has way more gravity. The sun's holding on to friggin' Pluto, for Christ's sake, and it can't affect the tides on Earth. So what's the difference between a full moon
or the moons on other planets?
Because during a full moon, the moon is powered up. The moon is full light production. The moon produces
every 14 days.
Yeah. It goes from new moon to full moon every 14 days, then full moon to new moon, 14 days. The moon travels.
So now I'm sure you have, not to interrupt you, but so a very easy at-home experiment that you can do for yourself, for our listeners. And Dave, I'm sure you've done this. I just haven't seen the video, but the digital thermometer with the moonlight, that test, you know which one I'm talking about? Yeah, Dave knows what I'm talking about. You guys have
enlightenment.
Go ahead. You just take a digital thermometer, and on a full moon, especially after the moon's been out for a little bit, you go out to your concrete and you can take a digital, temperature of the shadow.
Sure.
And then take a digital temperature of the moonlight.
I think maybe I have seen this.
And it's always colder, dude.
In the
moonlight is colder.
Wow.
Now think about we're from
Oh.
here from Iowa. It gets cold in the wintertime here.
Yeah,
Dave.
and the moon,
especially
and the moon's awful bright because we have a little light pollution, but not really bad.
In a dead winter night out here on the open fields when it's just nothing but a foot of 2 feet of snow and it's a full moon. Holy smokes, man!
When that moon's out.
Oh yeah, and if you have a wind on top of that,
So hang on a second. Let me just tell you something about the moon experiment. There's 900 ways to do that experiment wrong and get a false positive. Doesn't mean that it's not true. I mean, because people will say, all right, they got the moonlight shining on their yard, and then they'll set up a piece of cardboard a foot over the yard to create shade. Well, that's also creating insulation. Okay, then they'll measure underneath it and go, look, it's warmer. That's a false positive. But
you know, if you're doing it on the concrete after you wait about half an hour or so is what I did.
Well, the best way to do it is like on the concrete, or it doesn't matter. I don't really care what the surface is, but concrete is okay as long as there's like a wall.
They're both absorbing the same amount of temperature. Is how I felt.
Right, and if there's a vertical like brick wall or something that is causing shade on the driveway, that works perfect because it's not insulating, it's not hovering over it. And you can do there's 100 ways to do it right, but there's 1,000 ways to do it wrong. But when you do it and you do it right, you get a significant temperature difference. And then I love how the trolls come out. There's no way.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it a couple different times in the driveway and out and back, but I always do it on the patio, right on the concrete, and I've gotten significant differences in. Yeah. It's like usually what. Like 7 to
8 degrees. Yeah. That's what
7 to 8 degrees, 7 to 9 degrees, somewhere around there. And which is still, that's like stepping underneath a tree.
Here's something to think about this.
The middle of the day.
It can be a lot of difference.
In the summer, when the sun, it's beautiful sunny day, it's nice and warm. When the sun sets, you watch it set, it disappears, looks like it's going over the horizon, but so it's gone. How much does the temperature change in the next couple of minutes? Not a lot, right? It slowly gets cooler overnight, slowly, right? So the sun is going behind physical Earth curvature if the Earth is a globe. So it's being blocked by dirt, the Earth. But we don't feel that sudden change in temperature. But during a solar eclipse, when whatever it is that's blocking the sun, temperature drops 15 degrees in a second.
Right.
What's going on there? Why is that different? The Earth is eclipsing the sun. You should feel the temperature difference. But during a solar eclipse, the temperature drops like 15 degrees in seconds.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I think
that's a good point.
I'll tell you my answer. My answer is the sun isn't sending heat. It's sending electricity. And that electricity is reacting with everything and creating heat. And when whatever it is that's blocking the sun is blocking that electricity, that light, because that energy is exciting the gases, the noble gases in the sky. That's why the sky is blue. That's why the sunsets are, orange and red because of the different noble gases at different levels. The sun is exciting the nitrogen up in the sky, which creates the blue. And when the sun sets, it's still there. Its energy is still reaching out. It's still going out. It's just not as bright. It's not as powerful. That's why it stays light in the north in the summer for like over an hour after sunset, because that energy is still reaching you.
Some places it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, well, the farther north you are in the summer, because the sun is going around and never gets far enough to go away, where it may never set, like in northern Alaska or in Norway. Yeah. That's perfectly explainable on a flat Earth and perfectly explainable on a globe Earth, except at equal latitudes in the south in January and December, it should be the same, but it's not. There is no 24-hour sun in the south.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
There's a bunch of faked videos, and there's different Antarctic stations that have webcams that never give us a full 24-hour feed, but Flat Earth Banjo took feeds from all of them in December, right around the solstice, when it should have been nighttime 24/7 for all of them. And there was plenty that were daylight. Yep. Plenty that were No, it should not. I'm sorry, my bad. It should have been 24 hours of sun in December. Right. And there were many of them were black.
In Antarctica.
Yeah, in Antarctica. Yeah, and that's impossible in December.
Well, there would only be, according to, traditional thought, at least maybe an hour at most.
Yeah, of darkness.
Of darkness.
Right, but the farther south you are, the more, it just,
that's so wild. Yeah.
Get over it, everybody. Earth is flat.
Huh, interesting.
So NASA tells us, and the world tells us, with the phases of the moon, that the moon is on the other side of the Earth and the sun's hitting it, or hitting the Earth, and then casting basically the shadow of the Earth is what causes the moon phases, right?
No, that's amazing. It's amazing. Not only do globe earthers get that wrong, some flat earthers get that wrong also. That's what causes. Yeah, that's what they say causes an eclipse. It's supposedly the angle that the sun is hitting the moon. So when it hits the moon from the backside of the moon, like when we have a new moon, it's only lighting up the side that we can't see. Therefore, our new
we can't see.
That makes sense, but that's not what's happening, because first, during a full moon, there's a full moon tonight, boys. Go outside and check out the full moon, and you'll notice that it's bright and you can read by it, and it casts your shadow on the ground. Then during the day, go out and try to find a piece of cement somewhere. Maybe go to Target where they have one of those cement balls out front or whatever somewhere, and look at it. Is that casting light? Is that casting your shadow behind you? Is that bright as you see the moon? And when you look at any ball lit by a single source light, there's a hot spot and it gets dimmer towards the ends. But go out and look at the moon tonight, and it will be evenly lit, edge to edge.
Right.
I'll bet it's going to be chilly out there tonight too, fellas.
It will
be. It directs light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lesser light to govern the night.
Yeah.
Right?
It's already getting chilly.
That's what I remember being a boy and reading in Genesis, and like when God created the sun and the moon, a greater light for the day and a lesser light for the evening. I'm like, huh?
For the night.
Yeah, or for the night. Yeah, sorry. And I was like, well, that's
never
made sense to me because of what I was taught in school, and thinking also, and it was in that freaking Linkin Park song tune. I watch how the moon sits in the sky.
E-Rock's a big Linkin Park fan.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Another mistake. Another mistake a lot of flat earthers make is often, because we're aware of where the moon is, we'll notice the moon in the day sky where most people won't even notice.
I see.
Especially if you have my app, you'll look at my app and
I'm just going to ask.
You have to look through the chemtrails to see it now.
Yeah, no kidding. But most people
it's out though.
People will look at my app and go, "Oh, look, the moon is right near the sun," and they'll look up in the sky and they're like, "Oh, there's the moon."
Yeah.
Then they'll take
point
a
out
picture.
to my kids. Yeah.
Then they'll take a picture and they'll post it and go, "Hey, Globers, if the moon is here in America during the day, what's going on in China? Where's their moon?" And the answer is, it works perfectly fine on a globe model where the moon is on this side of the Earth. The moon isn't always in the night sky. It's only in the night sky for 2 weeks out of the month. It's in the early evening, and the day sky for the other 2 weeks. So that is not a flat Earth proof, people. So understand that, but it is. No,
I was just curious how it worked on a flat Earth. The
sun and the moon just circle over the Earth, and I believe that the sun is powering up the moon with electricity, and then it is shining its own light. But I think that's all part of an electrical circuit where the sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode. The land is the salt bridge, and the salt water carries the current. And that's why that has something to do with tides. And, there's no tides on fresh water. And it's very interesting.
That is very interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Well, and I know one thing, too, that I just find hard to believe that the sun is, what's the number, 23 million miles away or something? Or
93 million miles away. Joke.
93. Okay, 93 million miles away.
Right. But if you go up, if you look in any of the high altitude balloons, they have the corpuscular waves. If you go up in a high altitude balloon, the sun always looks like it's around the same height as the balloon at 120,000 feet. And then if you look at the sun, it's literally lighting up a hot spot right below it and not that hot everywhere else. That wouldn't make sense from 93 million miles away.
Well, yeah. Have you ever seen the sun out on the ocean, or especially clouds, right? When it's casting sun rays through the clouds and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How that
Once or
that
twice.
that how light works is if it was 93 million miles away, don't you think it would just be one straight beam of light? There would be no sun rays.
So that's what they tell us, because that's how Eratosthenes did his sticks and shadows, because the sun's so far away, the light comes in straight, but nobody ever sees straight light rays. We always see crepuscular rays that spread out. And then the Globers will come back and go, well, that's because when those straight light rays hit the curved atmosphere, they're bending out. Like, okay.
Just in one spot?
No, well, from your point of view, and you can't have your cake and eat it too, because then if they hit the atmosphere and they splay out crepuscularly, how did Eratosthenes do his experiment? Because they weren't coming in straight. I don't care if it's refraction, right? Either way, they'll just pick and choose, and they just try to, confuse your mind, because people, when you start talking about the heliocentric model, people just short circuit. They're like, oh, I can't understand this. I need a failed professor to explain this to me.
I get it. But it's hard. It's really hard. Think back to when you were first in it, man. It's hard to swallow that pill that my whole life has been a lie. But learning more about history and shit. All history is just lies agreed upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Back it up. Are you listening to "I'm the Improbable Dreamer"?
I have been seeing some of his stuff, but
you're quoting him right there. He's fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. Gotta watch his stuff.
I think Napoleon said something like that too.
And he just said, I am the improbable dreamer. Yeah, that is allegedly a Napoleon quote. But it's so true, because, the winner of every war is the maker of the history books.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they can tell us whatever the fuck they want.
And the masses out there, I'm not trying to sound arrogant whatsoever, because we've all been there, but they have no idea. Basically, you have to get yourself to a point to learn anything where you realize, I know nothing. I have never been taught anything. I don't know anything. There's really nothing from an establishment that you can trust.
In layman's terms, I don't know shit about fuck.
Yeah, because
I think it's the guy William Casey.
Humans are innately bad. I mean, you have to try to be good, right? So
the CIA director William Casey said, once everything the American people believe is a lie, our job will be done. And when I heard that, I'm like, everything? Come on. Well, yeah, everything. It's amazing how dumbed down our society is mind blowing. That's the thing that blows my mind.
I'm glad you said
Earth
that.
Doesn't blow my mind. Giants don't blow my mind. Airships don't blow my mind. The mega structures that they're finding, that doesn't blow my mind. It's how dumb and blind people are. And every
how they write everything off, but they know nothing.
It's like, actually, you know what, Dave? You said in one of your videos, people go full Agent Smith on right to defend the world that they think they're living in. Their cognitive dissonance, right? Yeah.
Especially if you go after NASA.
Yeah, they believe that the world is the way that the world is, and it takes a lot of people do. I was an ignorant American. I was in the Marine Corps, man. I went over to Afghanistan, and I was like, holy shit. I don't know anything about the fucking world, But a lot of people have never had that wake up moment where they're like, whoa, this is not how
I'm the only one thinking for me.
I am having life. Seeing a whole other culture and how they act and how they live and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people,
so the term revelation of the method, where they. Okay, so now I've been saying this for a while, and I'm actually adjusting it right here for the first time. Right, revelation of the method is when they tell you what they're doing because of what I feel is a karmic law where they're not allowed to break our free will, so they always have to tell us. That's partially
soft
true.
Disclosure.
Yeah,
that's partially true. I think it's I had another term for it. I hope I can remember it. It's revelation.
TP has said it too, Dave.
Yeah. But it's different than that. It's also because they need us to imagine it. So when they want to do something bad, they tell
They need us
in
for their
movies.
black magic.
They need us to focus on it, like the movie that just came out on Netflix called Leave the World Behind. There is so much spells in there and stuff because they want you to imagine it. So they're telling us because they have to tell us because they need us to imagine it into existence. That's how this world works. So I called it revelation of. I had a great term.
Revelation of the method.
No, not. I changed it. Revelation of the outcome or something. I forget what it was. It'll come to me.
Okay. I actually have a little bit of a theory on this as well. Like, I think this is all part of the elites. They're all part of their black magic. So, in the Bible, Yahweh told his prophets, he said, I do nothing before I tell my prophets first. And I think when the creator spoke that was like an unwritten rule of the universe, right?
What he speaks is law.
Right. So, ergo, the enemy, the adversary, they have to do the same thing. They have to tell their prophets. But they also do this in a mocking gesture to the Most High, right?
Prophets. We are the prophets.
We are the prophets.
And so when we read bad things and watch bad things and listen to bad things and start thinking bad things, the demons go, your prophet said it, so we can do it. Your prophet
garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. So they're literally getting us to prophesize. So, on the morning of 9/11, there was over a dozen drills going on of airplanes being hijacked, crashing buildings.
Yeah.
7/7 bombings, all three.
7/7. I was just about to say, London.
Right. And without mentioning all of them, because I want to put this on YouTube afterward.
Event 201.
Right. Right. They always tell us, because it's revelation of the process, I'll call it. Right. The revelation of the I had a great word for it, but it'll come to me. So they're telling us because they need us to prophesize it, so the demons have permission to pull it off. Sounds crazy. And if you don't believe it, that's your problem, because that's how this world works.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said there's something spiritual going on here with it.
All you have to do is not believe.
And it's part of the elitist, part of their black magic. They do it because, for one, I think it's like an unwritten rule, but two, as a mocking gesture, and three, that's why they have their own little ceremonies, like the cremation of care out of Bohemian Grove. We did all this shit, but we don't got to worry about it anymore. And no, you do,
because we offered it up to Moloch.
Oh, just wait, because nobody can mock the Most High, right? It says that. Yeah. And so when you try to do that shit, man, you're only sowing your own fate.
Yeah, this world is so crazy that even the most in-depth truthers, our minds are blown every day. Every day, there's you just find more and more stuff. I think it was Eddie Bravo that said when he found out about flat Earth, he was kind of depressed, thinking that wow, that's it, my mind will never be blown that much again, right? And that's kind of well, yeah, that's true. No, there's so much on top of flat Earth that
there's more
mind blowing. Because once you can see flat Earth, then you can start seeing the other bigger mind blowers.
Right. Well, and then this is all feeds into my personal opinion. And you were friends with Rob Skiba, and I mean, I love that guy. He was awesome, such a great researcher and great presenter. But he said this is all part of the beast system, man. This is all feeding into it. It's all a part of it. This is when Jesus said the whole world shall be deceived, even the elect, if that were possible. He meant the elect, like his followers, the people that believe in him. And this is how the stage has been being set. We're in it.
Seems
we're
more and
in
more
it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems more and more like. Because when you talk about the leaders of the world right now, when it comes to anything, deception is the name of the game.
Yeah,
it's right at the forefront of absolutely everything. So I don't know. That's what makes us talking to a flat Earth person. We're not like a particular flat Earth podcast necessarily. You know what I mean? But.
Well, yeah, we're just a podcast. We can
definitely talk to you.
You're a flat Earth podcast now. You guys are a flat Earth podcast right now.
I am open to anything, because I know that lies are the currency of our age.
Listen,
Right.
here's
And
the thing.
condemnation before investigation is the height of all ignorance. That's one of our philosophies for the show. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll talk to anybody about anything.
Here's the thing. I helped Owen Benjamin discover flat Earth, and he's one of the greatest people to destroy NASA and just make fun of heliocentrism in a really intelligent way. But he says he doesn't want to say that it's flat, because, and I'm okay with that. It's that we know it's not a globe. We know that we're on a level, non-rotating, horizontal, non-moving plane. And that's it. That's all you have to understand, and understand the lie. Understand that we are at the center of creation, right? And then once you get there, everything changes.
Well, it's important to remember that when it comes to NASA or other agencies such as the CIA, among other ones, I mean, hey, even our Navy, our Air Force, our Army, Nazi officers came over and were employed by them.
Yeah.
So
Department of Energy, and Disney, and everything.
Any sort of deception and manipulation is possible at that point. I mean,
Werner von Braun was supposedly came over in Project Paperclip, but Project Paperclip, what was that? Bringing over Nazi rocket scientists? Well, guess what?
Yeah,
there was no rocket space race. So Project Paperclip was a fake.
The rockets of the Nazis were making were weapons.
but all of that was done in core. All of them, Russia and the United States and China, they're all in it together. It's all one big thing. So,
seems like it.
Yeah. So Werner von Braun, if you go by the official story, he did write a book. Again, is this programming, or is this us being prophets and willing it into existence? That Werner von Braun wrote a book called Project Mars about a group of people that went to Mars. And it was led by a guy named Elon. He wrote that in 1957.
I think I've heard about this.
Yeah, 1957. So he got us all thinking about it, and then now they're faking it. This world is not what you think it is. It's amazing.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
it's way more awesome.
What do you got, E-Rock?
Can you bring up the Disney correlation with that?
Well, Disney and Werner von Braun were best friends. And
we talked about that.
Yeah, so
the logo.
Right. You got the firmament and the dome, the popping through the firmament, the Tower of Babel. And then all of the sexual innuendos that they put in the Disney films. And you guys have seen all the breakdown of that, right? Like the Lion King, naked girl on his face.
We're going to be doing a show here with some other with 643 Conspiracy.
The first picture that comes back from Elon Musk of Earth, it's got the word sex in the clouds. Literally a big S-E-X.
Yeah, the freaking Photoshop. Like you can see it. It's clearly put in there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, who do you think you are? Walt Disney?
A Musk?
Calm down. Yeah.
I have a compilation I played in some of my video interviews where we look at Jeff Bezos' blue origin. Look at it. It's a big dick. It's just a big dick. It's a big, it's a big,
just like Jeff.
Yeah.
Just like Jeff.
Then you look at Richard Branson and his Virgin Atlantic. It's the ovaries of a woman. Look at it. Flip it over.
Yeah.
It's literally the female reproductive organs. And then whenever Jeff Bezos, when his rocket launches, the cameraman must have epilepsy because the camera's going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it looks like the freaking thing is being whacked off.
And Austin Powers got it right.
Yeah. And then there's so many.
Cameraman's having an epileptic seizure.
Yeah,
it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's you look at the NASA launches. They got these the rocket with two giant balls next to it. I mean, it is so
just like
stupid.
Austin Powers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if they're just rubbing it in our faces or if it has some magical spell to it. I don't know.
Dude, yeah, I really don't know either. But to me, it's they're setting us up for something.
Well, yeah, you have to first know that you're being deceived. I mean,
right.
People are trying to deceive
and I get it.
Manipulate.
I totally get it, dude. I remember my red pill-ish moment, like coming through it, where I'm like, it pissed me off. It made me angry.
Yeah. You first learned everything's a lie.
Yeah. When I found out, I'm like, oh, cool. This is why I have brothers buried in Arlington Cemetery. Fucking sweet, right?
Americans always good guys.
Yeah. Turns out I was the terrorist aggressor.
Well, I'm not saying that.
No, but no. So I totally get how hard of a pill it is to swallow for people, you know. But once you accept that and start understanding, like, yeah, they lied to us, but being pissed off and sitting here being super angry about it's not going to do a damn thing.
No.
Right.
Got to do something productive.
Yeah. So turn that
Well, that's why
energy
that's
into
why
a
I
positive energy.
That's why I go out and talk to guys like you and other places, because if everybody wakes up to flat Earth, we literally unplug from their heliocentric trap. If we live on their map, their globe, their made up, invented, fake, satanic world, he who invented it owns it. So if we live on their world, then we have to play by their rules. And if we use their monopoly money, their fake printed nonsense money that has no value, then we have to abide by their rules. If you
no kidding.
If you unplug from their system, go back to the flat Earth, to nature, to God's law, then they lose control of you. That's why they're hiding flat Earth. Because if all the flat earthers that are awake are literally unplugging from the system and discovering that, hey, they don't have to listen to that. They don't have to pay that. They don't have to do this or that. Right.
Right.
And
energy turns out energy. I shouldn't have to be paying for this shit.
Yeah. So, there's ways around everything and legally, and you don't have to play on their stupid game board. That's the trick. Why does it matter? I still have to go to work on Monday, is what people have been trained to say.
Sure.
I say the same thing. I don't even know what day of the week it is today.
I don't either. Yeah, Wednesday. There we go. But it's also worth noting that it's not. I mean, there are a ton of what most people would consider to be reputable folks that are flat earthers. There are pilots.
Oh, there's many. I have
absolutely. The Earth is flat. We know it.
I have dozens of pilots from all different major airlines, everyone that you can mention, that had called me and talked to me all the time. Here's a little story. One of them told me the other day. He said he was flying across America, I think over Michigan or somewhere out there. And he said he got a call from the control tower, said, listen, there's 2 NASA balloons descending through your area over the next 50 miles that have no transponders. Be on the lookout. That's all they were told.
Wow. Right? Sweet.
Going 400.
Now, this guy is a flat earther, and he knows what they mean. Those are satellite balloons. And he's like, if my plane hits one of those, it's going to take out the plane. So he was literally in a panic. Right, he got everyone put the seatbelt sign on.
Transponders. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, it's fascinating, and again, Globers have nothing. The harder they try, the more flat Earth proofs they keep coming up with by accident. And the only thing they go, they have nothing on us. They have nothing. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. Anybody that's listening that thinks that the Earth is a globe. You get 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, but you got to get my app.
What's that worth now?
It's 120 grand, 130 grand, whatever it is. But you're not getting them because the Earth is flat. So there you go.
So suck it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So
yeah, ever since I was little, when they told us, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour.
Oh, it's so stupid.
How does that?
Yeah.
If you're in a balloon, if you go up in a balloon on the equator, you're moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour. If somebody at the same time goes up on a balloon on one of the poles, North Pole, South Pole, if there was one, you're moving 0 miles an hour and you're just pirouetting like a figure skater. Okay, with turning around once every 24 hours. Right? How does that work? How does that work? Explain that to me.
Maybe
how about if you're in an airplane?
They won't let us near the poles at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if the images from NASA of the Earth, shouldn't it just be a big blur?
Yeah. How about this? If you're
going so fast,
if you're on a helicopter or an airplane at the North Pole and you take off and you fly to Ecuador and you're landing on a runway that's oriented north-south, how are you going to land on that runway? It's moving sideways at over 1,000 miles an hour. How are you going to land on it? Where are you going to get that tangential speed from?
Right. No, that's a good point too.
Listen, guys, we're at our hour's end. If you have anything else, another minute or two, but you can find all my stuff at flatearthdave.com. If you have a show that you want to book me on, flatearthdave.com, check out my app. It's the way to get around Google censorship. It's got so many new features on it, and the Friend Finder soon to be a full-on dating and true Friend Finder site. I love it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Nice.
We hit 100,
Yeah, I would
125,000 people on it already.
Wow.
Well, no, hey, we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
it was,
thank you so much, dude. This is awesome.
An honor to have you on, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, we should have another show sometime.
Awesome discussion too.
We can do that again. When are you guys going to put this up?
It's probably going to drop on the 1st.
All right, make sure you send me a link and I'll share it around.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We really appreciate
it. Thanks.
All right, guys. Peace out.
All right. Hey, get some, better get vitamin C echinacea, man. You know,
I'm on it.
There we go.
Thanks, guys.
You got it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.